Hello, Taurus. Thank you for being here today. Let's take a breath together before we begin. There's something quietly shifting beneath the surface of your life, and it deserves your full attention. Lately, you may have felt yourself pulled into places that drain you, conversations, expectations, even relationships that leave you feeling depleted rather than supported. You've been giving your energy away in ways that no longer make sense for who you're becoming. And I know that's hard to admit, especially when loyalty is something you value so deeply. But just because something once felt right doesn't mean it's meant to stay forever. Today is about coming back to your center. It's about recognizing where your energy leaks and gently pulling it back without guilt. You don't need to fight or explain, just choose peace. It's okay to choose yourself now. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you believe you deserve. And if you've been stuck in survival mode, if you've been waiting for someone else to finally validate your worth, it's time to shift that story. You're allowed to believe in more, not because you've earned it, but because you are it. So today, we begin here with honesty, with awareness, and with the quiet decision to protect your light a little more than you did yesterday. Let's see what else this day holds for you. When it comes to money, Taurus, today asks you to pause and check where your energy is flowing. Abundance isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. And that alignment only happens when you're honest with yourself about what you truly want and what parts of your life are still being lived for someone else. You may have been working hard, staying committed, trying to get ahead. But if you've been doing it from a place of fear, pressure, or comparison, then you've been pouring energy into a version of success that doesn't feel like yours. The universe sees that effort, but it responds to authenticity more than effort. Your prosperity begins where your truth begins. Today, there's a whisper in your mind that isn't random, a new idea, a creative spark, a subtle nudge towards something that feels more like you. Maybe it's a business you've been quietly dreaming about, or a project you keep putting off because it doesn't look like what everyone else is doing. But that's exactly why it matters. That idea could be a doorway. Don't ignore it. Even if it feels small now, with care and belief, it could become something that changes everything. The key is to stop waiting for perfect conditions and start trusting the moment you're in. The right opportunities often come when you're grounded, present, and open, not when you're hustling to prove something. So take a step back from the noise, from the rush, and remember that financial freedom isn't just about numbers, it's about energy. Speak the words that support your worth. Act like the life you want is already reaching for you. And if you've been carrying stress about bills or measuring your success by someone else's pace, it's time to return to gratitude. Start by naming what you do have. Your ideas, your resilience, your voice, these are your currency. And as you settle into that truth, expect something unexpected. A message, a connection, an overlooked opportunity that holds more power than you think. The numbers that resonate with you today, 5, 17, 28, 39, 51, 62, may appear when you need encouragement most. Pay attention. Nothing is random, not when you're in alignment. In your work life, Taurus, there's been a quiet heaviness building, one that doesn't always announce itself loudly but lingers in the background like a subtle ache. Maybe you've been going through the motions, fulfilling tasks, answering emails, showing up every day with consistency, because that's who you are: reliable, dedicated, grounded. But beneath that outer rhythm, something feels misaligned. You might be questioning whether the path you're on still fits who you're becoming, or wondering why the fulfillment you once felt has faded into obligation. This isn't failure. It's a sign, a gentle one, urging you to stop, breathe, and come back to the deeper why behind your efforts. Today is a day to reclaim that why, to pause not because you're lazy or tired, but because you're wise enough to know that movement without meaning only leads to burnout. You don't have to keep pushing through just to prove you can. The world might tell you that progress is about hustle, but your soul is reminding you that it's about alignment. Ask yourself what lights you up, what parts of your work feel like an extension of your truth, and which ones feel like borrowed roles you've outgrown. You don't need to have all the answers now, but you do need to listen to that restlessness. It's sacred. It's the signal that something in you is ready to evolve. And sometimes, all it takes is one act of courage to shift the entire trajectory. That idea you've been sitting on, that message you've been too afraid to send, that request you've been rehearsing in your head today, might be the day to act on it. Not because you're desperate for change, but because you're finally done waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. The smallest, most intentional step, taken in truth, can open doors that your fear tried to convince you were locked. And if your environment has felt draining or unsupportive, you're allowed to create space even there. Boundaries don't make you difficult, they make you sustainable. Let this be a day where you realign with what matters, even if just internally. You don't have to quit everything or announce anything. You only need to decide that your purpose matters enough to be honored again. And from that place of clarity, the next step will always reveal itself. Trust that. Trust yourself. In matters of the heart, Taurus, today brings a moment of quiet clarity, one that doesn't necessarily arrive through grand gestures or dramatic conversations, but through the subtle ache you've been trying to ignore. If you've been feeling like you're pouring more into a connection than what's being returned, that discomfort is not your imagination. It's your inner wisdom, trying to get your attention. Love, at its essence, was never meant to feel like chasing. It's not about convincing someone to see your worth or working overtime to be understood. True love begins in a space of ease, where your presence is enough, where your needs are not too much, and where your heart doesn't have to shrink itself to be accepted. You may be in a relationship where the dynamic feels off, where you're giving, waiting, hoping for reciprocation that doesn't fully come. Or perhaps you're single and wondering why connection still feels distant, even when you're open and ready. Wherever you stand today, the message is the same. Love that asks you to abandon yourself is not love that's meant to stay. The emotional hunger you feel isn't a sign that you're unlovable. It's a sign that you've been starving your own heart of the care it needs from you. The peace you're seeking in someone else's arms begins first in your own. So take today to return to yourself gently but fully, not in resistance to love, but in preparation for the kind of love that won't ask you to perform or prove. Ask yourself, honestly, am I showing up for myself the way I want someone else to show up for me? Am I holding space for my joy, my boundaries, my softness, my power? Because the truth is, the more you nourish that relationship with yourself, the less you'll tolerate anything that drains you. And from that grounded place, real love, reciprocal, steady, soul deep, can actually find you and stay. This isn't about giving up on connection. It's about choosing the kind that supports your wholeness, not the kind that survives on your silence. Whether you're partnered or walking alone today, know this. The relationship you're building with yourself is the foundation for everything else. Love doesn't begin when someone else chooses you. It begins when you stop abandoning your own heart. And today, that's the invitation. Come home to yourself. You are already enough. When it comes to your health, Taurus, your body is speaking in ways that words cannot, through tension that won't go away, through sudden waves of fatigue, through restlessness that feels deeper than just being tired. You may have been carrying emotional weight in silence, showing up for everyone else while quietly disconnecting from your own needs. And now, the cost of that emotional overload is making itself known in your nervous system, in your breath, in the way you wake up, already feeling like you're behind. This isn't weakness, and it's not something to push through. It's a message, a sacred one. Your body is asking not for perfection, but for presence. Today, you're being called to slow down, not as a punishment or a delay in progress, but as a necessary act of healing. Rest is not something you need to earn. You don't have to exhaust yourself to justify pressing pause. Reconnection can be simple, even quiet. A walk in the woods, a few honest words on a journal page, a moment of breath that isn't rushed or forced. Movement doesn't need to be intense to be healing, it just needs to be intentional. Even a stretch, a dance, a slow step outside into sunlight can begin the reset your body is craving. It's not about doing more, it's about returning to what's true underneath the doing. And underneath all the noise, your body already knows how to heal. It always has. You are not broken. You are responding beautifully, wisely to what you've been carrying. The invitation now is not to fix yourself, but to honor yourself. To offer compassion to the parts of you that have been running on empty. You don't need a strict routine or a rigid plan. You need tenderness. You need space. And you need to trust that your well-being will return the moment you stop abandoning your own rhythm. Today is not about chasing health as a goal. It's about remembering that healing is already within you. You are your own best healer. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are finally listening. Let that be enough. Let that be the beginning. Within the realm of family and friendships, Taurus, Today may stir something raw and familiar, a subtle ache that gets triggered when you interact with someone close, someone who, whether intentionally or not, continues to disregard the boundaries you've worked so hard to build. It might be a parent who still speaks to you like the child you no longer are, a sibling who minimizes your voice, or a friend who keeps showing up only when they need something. These are not easy realizations, but they are necessary. You've grown, you've shifted, and not everyone has caught up to that evolution. And while love can be steady, it can also be complicated when peace is compromised. The truth is, you can love someone and still need distance. You can care deeply and still say no. You are not cruel for choosing to protect your peace. You are wise. Emotional closeness should not come at the cost of self-abandonment. If someone continues to pull you into cycles that leave you drained, anxious, or unseen, it's not disloyal to step back. It's self-respect. And today, that respect must begin within. Reflect on who actually supports your growth, who listens when you speak, who sees you as you are now, not as who you used to be or who they wish you'd remain. This isn't about cutting ties out of anger. It's about making room for your nervous system to breathe, for your spirit to rest, for your truth to exist freely. And if some people never understand that boundary, it's okay. You're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to heal, to expand, to live a life that reflects your soul, not their expectations. As for the energy around you today, compatibility flows best with those who meet your calm and commitment, especially fellow earth signs like Virgo and Capricorn, who bring a grounded resonance that soothes your spirit, and water signs like Cancer and Pisces, who can meet you in emotional depth without demanding more than you have to give. Fire signs like Aries or Leo may energize you, but only if you feel solid within yourself first. Otherwise, their intensity may push against your sensitivity. Air signs, particularly Gemini and Aquarius, could feel misaligned today, as their restlessness might clash with your need for steadiness and clarity. Your lucky color today is emerald green, a deep healing hue that reminds you of renewal, abundance, and emotional restoration. Let it be present with you somehow, whether on your body, in your space, or in your visual focus. You don't need to do anything dramatic. Just let that color remind you. You are safe to choose yourself, always. So as we close today, Taurus, I want you to take one last breath, not rushed, not distracted, but full and deliberate. A breath that reminds you that you're still here, still evolving, still worthy of a life that feels like yours. Everything you've heard today wasn't about adding pressure or telling you to become someone new. It was about guiding you gently back to who you've always been beneath the noise, the version of you who remembers how to listen to your intuition, who knows when enough is enough, and who no longer needs to apologize for choosing peace over performance. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late to anything. In fact, this moment right now is right on time. The fatigue, the doubt, the quiet yearning for something more, it all has a purpose. It's not just discomfort, it's direction. It's your spirit pointing you toward what you've outgrown, what no longer honors your truth, and what no longer deserves space in your sacred energy field. And that takes courage, real courage. But I know you have it, even when you forget. Let this day be a turning point, not dramatic, not loud, but deeply intentional. Let it be the day you stop trying to fit back into versions of yourself that feel too small. Let it be the day you forgive yourself for all the times you stayed too long, gave too much, or went quiet just to keep the peace. And let it be the day you walk differently, not faster, not harder, but softer and more aware, more willing to honor what your heart has been asking for all along. Room to be, room to breathe, room to grow. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You just have to keep showing up as yourself, messy, beautiful, healing, honest. That's the energy that changes your life. That's the frequency that calls your blessings home. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this message found you, it's because your spirit was ready to receive it. Come back to it whenever you forget your power. And until we meet again, take care of your light, move gently through your day, and never stop believing that your life can bloom in ways you haven't even imagined yet. Keep going, Taurus. You are closer than you think.